Dirkens here. Thanks so much for joining me for my reaction to something they called an opening game of the season between Florida and Miami. It was in Orlando. Hey, it's college football. I'm glad just to have it back and not baseball or having to act like I care about women's soccer. No. Hey, if you don't know me, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications to let you know when I put up great stuff like this. So I started off with a thumbnail that had Florida-Miami garbage game. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, had that been Clemson playing? I would be embarrassed right now. Got a bunch of people on here saying, "May there" to me. Eric Birch, George, Volunteer Roadshow, the captain. Good to see you, May there, buddy. Improv, bunch of people is coming on here. I'm going to jump right into this. So I'm going to talk for a second. May not be saying May there to all of you. Y'all forgive me. Hey, listen, I got to do my thing. Tiger Nation, SEC Football Tube. Here we go. Florida wins the thing 24-20. Dan Mullen, second year. Manny Diaz, first year. Okay? I get it. Manny Diaz is not a stranger to Florida football. Felipe Franks. This is what Florida has to work with, okay? See games and stuff's in here. I see Pigskin Pete's on here. I got to catch some of his live show. Go subscribe to him. Go subscribe to Volunteer Roadshow right now. Jumping right back into this game. 24-20, Florida wins. And I'm just going to tell you right now, we can sit here and we can talk about teams, and we can talk about, you know, how long they've been there and how long they've been coaching or what they have to work with. But I just want to back up to about, I don't know, 6 hours ago. Florida fans jumping up and down. We're back. You know one good thing about having a show like this, and look, if people wanted to pay me a bunch of money to get on TV and talk about football and sports and stuff like that, I'd do it. You know what? Because they'd be paying me to do it. That's great. That's wonderful. But one thing about what I do here is I get to tell the truth. I don't have to have somebody nudging me in the side going, "Hey, talk about how Florida's back." Or I'm not an idiot who thinks that Florida's actually back. I told you that they beat a subpar Michigan team. And I told you there was a good bit of the talent from the Michigan team who sat out during that bowl game. You say, "Bobby, what does that even have to do with tonight?" Has every flipping thing to do with tonight. And why they're ranked preseason number 8. And Miami looked bad, okay? Miami looked bad. But here's one thing I'm going to tell you. Their defense wasn't too bad. It's just they don't have an offense. And most of all, Miami didn't have number 8 ranking sitting beside them. Tonight, you could have cleared the rankings. You could have put them in neutral uniforms to where they didn't have a gator on the side or the U on the side. You could just put them in neutral uniforms. And by their play tonight, every person who wanted to be honest with themselves would have to say those are two lackluster, pissy teams who have absolutely no business of thinking that they're even in the top 25. It's the truth. I ain't hating. I ain't being a jerk. I'm not being a douche. That was a horrible, horrible, horrible game. And you know what's really, really scary about it is both teams have good recruits on their team. Lack of discipline. I have not seen that lack of discipline since I've seen some of these brats running around with their families out in the middle of Walmart. That was absolutely horrible. It's not first game jitters. That is just poor team development on both sides. I don't care. Listen to me. The stuff that they were doing, especially Florida with the pass interferences left and right, absolutely ridiculous. Neither team could tackle. I mean, I think that they could have actually put some type of, I don't know, adhesive on them and ran up to people and nailed them, and they still bounced off of them. It's not because it's the beginning of the year, jitters and all that bunch of stuff. It's because neither team, we already knew, Miami wasn't even in the running. I told you Florida was going to win this game. But both teams lost tonight. Florida comes away 1-0. But with anybody with a brain, and I know if you're a Florida fan, if I was a Florida fan, I'd be like, whew, well, at least we got the win. Oh, no. I'm back to that rhetoric. That's a new word I learned. Again. Because if your team looks really, really good, you're not having to think about that all the time. This team right here, Florida's in trouble. I actually thought that maybe they'd develop a little more, but I want to tell you this. And when Franks went to the sideline and started jumping up and down and going it, and it was like he was trying to talk trash to some of the Miami fans, and he come out there and he threw that pick. What? How dumb. Miami has players on the team like Quarterman. I talked about it last year when they lost to LSU by much more. I said this, and listen to me. Listen to me. I said Miami has the talent on that defense especially that a lot of them could go to the NFL. And they lost some, but a lot of that still hasn't changed. I understand, listen to me, I understand Miami has a young quarterback. I get it. And I get that they need a leader. Both teams, listen to me, both teams need a leader. I'm just telling you right now, watching that game right there, I'm glad, as I said it again, I'm glad college football is back. I could care less about women's soccer. I could care less about baseball when there are 9,000 games in the season. I could care less about any other sport than this. Period. Volunteer Roadshow said, tonight I missed it. He was actually in my area, but my son, Bobby Dirkens Jr., he had his 13th birthday party. Yes, happy birthday to him. It's time to get him a full-time job and a car payment. So I was there. Volunteer Roadshow was in my area. I didn't get to meet him. He said I missed out on a truck stop steak dinner. Sounds very alluring. I wished I could have met you down there and bought you a subpar cup of coffee. But we'll get together. We'll get together. Get back to this game. Let me tell you right now. Miami doesn't have an offensive line. They have big dudes dressed up on the offensive line, but they don't have an offensive line. He got sacked, what, 10 times, 11 times? I can't remember the final numbers. Florida. I mean, Herb Street said, hey, listen, they don't have bad corners. So that makes you go to, hold on 1 second. If they don't have bad corners, but those corners who are good corners are doing stupid things like pass interference on 4th and 900, what does that say? There's going to be some people on here, and I hadn't been reading comments. Y'all forgive me. Don't get mad at me. I mean, I got to talk. I just can't. I won't say hey to you, but understand what I'm saying here. I'm not being a douche. I just can't continue to say hey. I've got to jump into this. So don't be mad at me. And hate all of you. I see you being in here, college football maniac, a bunch of you. I'm glad you're here. I'm not being a jerk. Josh Watson, good to see you. But I know they had that one questionable late hit, which I thought that was a horrible call. But a little later on, that play, the fake field goal where the kicker gets hit out of bounds and he's like 9 yards out of bounds. In fact, he's behind the media and that idiot runs through and hits him because of a lack of discipline. But was also the same dumb play where the tight end for Miami is 10 yards down the field, and the only blocker, by the way, in the general area who is literally almost looks like a koala bear in its mama's pouch or back holding a guy that bad. And to me, that play just really summed up how horrible both teams really are. Florida, you're not back. I don't care who gets on these big shows and go, they're back, baby. That idiot needs to be fired like that. If Florida was ranked number 24 tonight, number 25, I would still be going. Number 8? Who's making up these polls? Morons? Once again, it looks like Miami, and I know they got a new coach, but Miami gets a new coach like whatever, 4 or 5 years, something like that. You wait in a few years. That's been said for many years since Miami fell off the face of the earth. I don't have any problem with Miami. I'm just being honest here. That's the reason Clemson fans got sick of the Tommy Bowden years. Just give me one more recruiting cycle. One more recruiting cycle will pass through, and they'd sign a C.J. Spiller, and they were getting the same results. You know what that means? It means that in your athletic department, you're going to have to make some good hires. Now, I'm not saying that Diaz is not the man just because of tonight. But I'm telling you right now, that was both teams sucked with discipline. Tennessee Vols Volunteer Roadshow says the Vols will beat Florida in the swamp. I'm not going to go out that far. But I will tell you right now, I was sitting with a friend of mine tonight who actually graduated University of Tennessee. And he looked at me, he said, I beg to God they played just like this against us. Because I think we could beat them. Just come in and play decent. You don't have to do anything extravagant. Just don't turn over the ball. Don't do stupid stuff. Don't hit people when they're sitting up 14 rows in the stands like Florida was doing. That was a garbage game. Horrible. I'd rather watch it than I would no college football at all. But where I'm really fired up is number 8 being beside the Florida Gators. And then the Miami fans, not all of them, but some of them, who is already running their mouth. Manny Diaz, you know, he already knows that thing really well. Yep, he looked totally clueless to me. What do I always say on my videos? And I'm closing this down. I'm closing this down. I'm not going to do a whole 20-minute video. I'm going to shut this down. But listen to me. Listen to me. You can hate my guts. You can type God knows what down there, and you can say whatever about me. It doesn't matter. But if you pull for either one of these teams, you're in trouble, bud. Go for it. Armed with a keyboard, insult me at your best. You still pull for a sucky football team. And they have talent. That's the thing that gets to me. Is when a team has talent. And they still manage to look like they don't have talent. That's scary. Well, I'm going to shut this thing down. Florida does get the win. Thank God that we actually get to see some football here. We're not having to be stuck listening to women's soccer, and then it turned political, and it's just like, just go somewhere. That's why I want college football. If I want to talk about and listen to politics, I turn on a political station. That's why I don't do politics on here. You looking for politics on here, go turn on whatever news source that scratches your itch and makes you think they're right, and go watch it. But that's why I don't talk about it on here. I love college football, but I'd rather watch this than anything. But I'm just going to tell you right now, that was really, really horrible. Really, really horrible. It bothers me to see two teams who have so much tradition. They're in the hotbed of recruiting, and they played like that. Even if you hate both teams, at least understand my logic. All right, well, hey, listen, have more videos coming out this week. Clemson game's going to be Thursday night. For all of y'all who don't know, me and Pigskin Pete's going to be doing a show together once per week on howardsrock.net, and you need to check that out. It's launching this week sometime. Volunteer Roadshow, who's on here, he's the man behind it. He's been kind enough to allow me to come on and do some of my craziness. I got, you know, my old buddy, he gets on here. He looks a lot like me with glasses. He's not near as talented or good looking or sensible and all that. Listen to me, he's going to do the show with Pete, but I'll show up some. But go check it out. We'll be launching this website, or Volunteer Roadshow. He'll be launching this, but it's a Clemson website. You also have a lot of your favorite teams who will be coming in here as time goes on. I don't know all of those teams. Forgive me, but you got to watch it. We'll start with howardsrock.net. I also got my videos this week I've got to do before Thursday night. Clemson, Alabama, and those horrible, no good, eating dookie chickens down there from South Carolina. That's right. I'm going to have a field day with this one. Might even get banned from Columbia for a second time. All right. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Remember, I'm Bobby Dirkens. You keep showing up. Lord knows I'll keep showing out. Bobby Dirkens.